All right, welcome to the latest episode of the Colman Power Organic Fitness Podcast. I have my latest guest here in front of me, all the way from across the pond in America. We have Oksana, a wellness coach. I'm going to say welcome to the latest episode of the podcast. So if you could let the listeners know a little bit about yourself and maybe your background, and welcome aboard.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here. I woke up super early to be here because it is 7 o'clock right
7
now
a.m.
in the United States. Yeah, 7 a.m. So yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to have an opportunity to chat and meet you across country, across the oceans, right? And new audience. Yeah, so I am, my name is Oksana. I live in New Jersey. Originally, I'm from Ukraine. And I am a wellness coach. I used to be a registered nurse and I worked in surgery. I owned a wellness business. That's what actually got me into wellness coaching. And this is where I am right now, predominantly teaching people about everything natural living, natural diet, plant-based diet, natural recipes, just anything that makes us feel better.
Interesting. I suppose, what got you into the whole plant-based ethos of eating? Because a lot of people, I suppose, their diet from where they started growing up was completely different to what it is now. Were you always plant-based, or what makes your preference towards plant-based today than any other diet?
Yeah, well, totally. The journey was very long, actually. It took me like 10 years probably to get to where I am right now. And I'll tell you, like, some people are luckier, but I believe in slow transformation. Because then it's more sustainable. So I think it was like when I was 30, or maybe even before that, definitely before my daughter was born. I'm 40 years old, by the way. So my husband and I, we went to Tony Robbins' event. And here he was talking about like how meat is bad for you and this is bad for you. So we came home and we were so determined this is what we're going to be now. But 10 years ago, actually, the choices were much fewer for vegans, than it is now. So we bought meatless hot dog or something. Oh, it didn't taste good. Then we bought something else, mayo. Oh, it didn't taste good at all. So we did it for a little bit and then we just slipped back. But then it kept coming to me. I guess I kept learning more about it. I kept reading. My first book that I read was the China Study. Are you familiar with that book?
Yes, very good book.
Yes. So that kind of blew my mind. And then I started doing more vegan for a time. And then again, it didn't happen. So slowly, I guess it's just a slow transformation. I don't eat meat now for a year. So see, it took me 9 years to not eat meat. I still eat fish every now and then, but very, very, very little. So I guess you have to be ready. So for me, I was ready. Then I got into wellness business. I owned a wellness center for about 5 years. Then COVID, and then I had a lot of time in my hand to think and to study even more. And right now, so then probably the second most transformational book for me was by Dr. Greger, How Not to Die and How Not to Diet.
Brilliant book. I have it right there. Like it is.
I know. I should have brought it. I have it upstairs. And I cook a lot of his recipes and I teach a lot of his studies because I believe I'm the type of person who needs to understand. Like if I do something, what is why am I eating this or why am I not eating it? And then I even did a lot of mental work because we do have family, right? And we do have people that surround us that eat differently or may eat differently. So it took me a lot of mental work to make good choices.
It's touching on, I suppose, the likes of those two books, Michael McGregor and the Chinese Study, How Not to Die, both of those books being very important, I suppose, for people to even just to dabble in or even check out their website with Dr. McGregor having so much beneficial information. And I love the fact that every food from a single ingredient, such as fruit or a vegetable, contains fiber. Fiber is good for gut health, and that is linked with reduced inflammation. Are there foods that you particularly recommend to individuals that you come across, mentor or coach, that you, I suppose, would like to touch on in this podcast? And inflammation being the key, I suppose, to longevity as well as health, whatever your fitness goal may be.
Well, so the more fresh foods, the more fruits and vegetables, the better. So go for like 70-30 rule, right? But also, depending on the person, like I don't have a single recommendation. So for example, it's not like I'm going to tell, okay, you got to eat tomatoes, right? Or you only got to eat bell peppers or something else. However, like fruits and vegetables, stay away from meat. So what we eat matters and how we cook matters. So even if you go vegan, but you start frying everything, it's not good either. So I would say examine your diet, go slow. First, increase your fruits and veggie intake, right? Everything else less of. And then slowly eliminate fried foods first, then eliminate red meat. So at least stick to chicken, but then the goal should be eliminate chicken too. Lentils, all kinds of lentils. And I think I do have two favorite foods. And again, that's Dr. Greger to blame. So that's broccoli and cauliflower. And I like Flax. So yeah, I think everybody should eat Flax and broccoli and cauliflower.
Yeah, flax
Every
seeds.
day.
Yeah. Both broccoli and suppose cauliflower are in season right now as well, because they're part of that brassica family, and flax seeds being high in fiber and they contain lignans, as well as those beneficial, I suppose, omega-3s, which are essential in your diet. There's particular ways did you incorporate them in? I suppose you sprinkle them on your oats, or there are ways that you, suppose, use them on a regular basis now that you have them every day?
So Flax, what I do, yes, I incorporate them in the diet. However, just to make sure I got my one spoon a day for me, and my husband takes 3 spoons. So I drink them with a little bit of water. So flax seeds have to be taken ground in order for you to get the benefits. So I just like literally put a spoon in I actually take 2 spoons. So I put 2 spoons in my cup and a little bit of water, drink it. And then during the day, yes, if I added to like, what was that I made yesterday? If I baked something, I forget, like it was like a pie or something, kind of like a vegan shepherd's pie, you know? So I put flax, like flax egg, you know, so you put a little bit of water, you let it sit, it thickens, and then you add it to your baking and it just holds it together. And or I sprinkle it on let's say on my banana. I like fried bananas, or you know, whenever you can add it to your salad, to your soup if you want. It doesn't really have a taste, but it's so good for you.
Yeah, it's a neutral taste, which is great, I suppose. And you're just touching on there cooking, and I want to mention the likes of frying or using particular cooking oils. What are your preference towards the ones that are out there at this moment in time, whether they be avocado oil, you have coconut oil, you have extra virgin olive oil? Are there any particular ones that you use or recommend?
So I use olive oil or ghee butter to cook. So in my practice, in my life, I follow a lot of Ayurvedic principles. Not like, but yes, olive oil and ghee are the ones that I use all the time and I would recommend. And definitely stay away from like corn oil. that's the evil of it all.
And if you could just explain to the listeners why you recommend staying away from that particular type of oil. For the most part, I know it's negative health issues, but for just to expand to the listeners.
Well, corn in general, see, like corn was the first thing that they modified. And the process they make this oil is highly, highly inflammatory. And that's the cheapest thing, you know, so you have to understand something. So why did they modify corn? To feed growing population of people. And because they couldn't grow it naturally, they couldn't grow 10 times more than the earth could give them. They said, okay, let's force it, right? So they modified it to the extent that they said, well, at least everybody on earth can eat corn, so they're not going to die, right? So but now it's so GMO, so genetically modified at this point, that it's just a Pandora box of all the bad things that could happen to you. And the process, they expel the oil. So the cheapest thing, you know, they want to feed it, right? So the cheapest and the worst for you.
Another topic to touch on, seeds that are grown with the likes of GMO, so genetically modified seeds, that is, the fact that they can be heavily sprayed in, I suppose, their life cycle, and then the sprays that they're commonly using are used and do contain the likes of that, dreadful. It's toxic. It's poison. More people should hear it and listen to the words and try and just pass on to people. Is glyphosate is a carcinogenic. It's something that can cause major chronic illnesses such as cancer, autoimmune diseases, and I suppose that leads me on to other autoimmune diseases such as asthma. You do use a treatment for, I suppose, treating asthma and other autoimmune diseases. If you want to expand on that point in some of your treatments that you currently do at this moment in time.
So I would say everything comes like from inflammation. It starts like as an inflammatory response. So reduce that inflammation and your body will fix itself. Our body is just so smart. So we don't need to like treat the symptom. Asthma is a symptom, is a reactive airway. So examine your life, see what you do, look what you eat, what you breathe, right? Like what you clean with, what you use in your shower, and then take that away, fix that, and your asthma will be fixed. I mean, there are other methods that you can use. Like when the wellness center I owned before, we had salt rooms. Are you familiar with salt rooms?
It's not something that we have a lot of here in Ireland, and I suppose it's even worth mentioning what they are and exactly what are the benefits entail.
So basically, it's the room that has a special machine that makes the air salty, like literally spews like salt powder in the air, if you will. So people breathe that in, and salt has anti-inflammatory properties. So it reduces the reaction of the airways to and then remove symptoms of asthma. So it really helps. However, this is fantastic. It's treating the symptom again. But in the first place, why do you have asthma? So so you have to look in the root. So you have to start, diet is the first thing that we have to change. And I cannot tell you eat tomato and then that your asthma will go away, because maybe if you eat tomato, but you eat 99% of crap, and crap literally stands, what does it stand? So it's, I forget now. So, but basically it's like it's an acronym that means like highly refined and processed food. So I forget exactly, but that's an acronym that nutritionists use, so you have to look what you eat. Start changing your diet. You'll be able to change your mentality, and then everything else will change.
Food effects in your environment massively affect the way how much energy levels you have, the way you look, and I suppose the way you feel. And the more people realize that every food choice that they make is important, because if you want to, I suppose, improve any area of your health, it starts with it. Definitely the foods you consume that have a massive effect on your gut, as your gut has different microorganisms, I suppose, that are really key for not only, I suppose, your energy levels, but also, I suppose, your brain function, because your brain are connected to your gut. And those are things that people need to take on board. The better food choices that you have are key.
And gut is your second brain. Maybe it's your first brain. They say it's the second. I think it's the first. And even like people have to realize, they say, oh, give me a recipe for asthma. Just like you said, it's still a Band-Aid. Yes, I will give you a recipe. I have, what was that? A very popular recipe that I shared. It's called the golden paste. So it has 4 ingredients. So it has turmeric, ginger, flax, apple cider vinegar, so 5, and honey. And then, okay, everybody wants it, right? Because they think if they're going to take this by continue eating crap, that it's going to make 100% difference. Yes, it's going to make them feel better, but you're making 1 step forward, 3 steps back. Don't you agree?
I certainly would. And I actually have my own personal experience I used to suffer from asthma, and I've nearly eradicated it completely. I used to have to take both the Ventolin inhalers before sports and after, just to maintain my current, I suppose, breathing for adequate levels for performing at a sports level. And due to changing up my lifestyle, due to changing up the products that I use in the shower and washing my hands and washing my skin, I have, I suppose, improved my overall health. Because breathing without breath, without oxygen, we would completely die.
Exactly. I also I incorporate a lot of essential oils in my life as well, and in my practice. However, it's essential oils. Like essential oils is still burn. It's an addition to what the basics that we do, and the basics is lifestyle. Lifestyle consists of right food, and then everything else comes second, like Maslow hierarchy of needs, right? The pyramid. So meet your basic needs first. So we got to eat first, right? Eliminate, and then change our mental health next, and then spirituality. So wellness. So that's why I'm a wellness coach, because I don't just focus on wellness, just diet or just mental health, or just like one area. Well, parts to it. So diet, what we eat, we are what we eat. Then we are what we think. So mental health, so physical health, mental health, and spirituality. So spirituality, that's comes third after you already mastered first, second, then you can practice spirituality. If you just master one of these areas, well, you cannot master spirituality without the first two. But if you're just going to focus on your physical body, but you forget about your mental health, you're going to be like, I guess, like you're not going to be happy, and you may not know why. So it all comes together.
Yeah, there are different areas of health, and a lot of people just work on exactly one of those ones, and first of which is often physically, how they physically look, and reducing down, I suppose, and deeming their health by what percentage of body fat they have or what size dress they are currently wearing. And for the most part, that's, we call it, only one of the pillars of health. There's also relationships, there's also fulfillment in what you currently do. And I have people on the organic fitness program, and I'd love to further expand on. I train a high percentage of women on this program, and foods being massively important, and I incorporate in like such as ginger and turmeric. Are there any other foods for particular reasons that you would recommend to women and their overall health?
Yeah, so speaking of women, like I think there's three most common problems that we face. Like, first of all, first would be breast cancer, right? Second would be polycystic ovary syndrome. I think it's the most common disease for women of childbearing age. So that leads to infertility and all other very bad symptoms. And the third one, what was the third one that I was thinking? Let me start on the first two, and then the third one will come up. But basically, all of these three problems that we may be facing are related to lifestyle changes. Like, for example, breast cancer, 70% of it is linked to estrogen. So whatever we eat has to allow our body to counteract the effect of estrogen, so we don't develop it. So I would recommend Flax, definitely, in your diet every single day. Broccoli, again, so Flax because of lignans, but the way Flaxseed works for women to prevent breast cancer is, it actually, if you eat it every day, after sometimes you notice that your periods may get a little longer. So what that means, that over the lifespan of a childbearing lifespan that we have periods, we will have had periods in our life. So there's a little less exposure to estrogen. So that's the way they think it works. And broccoli. However, there's also a way, broccoli would be the king of all cruciferous vegetables, but broccoli, cauliflower, the way you need to eat broccoli, cauliflower, cruciferous vegetables, you got to chop them up first, let them sit for at least 40 minutes, and only eat after that, or you eat them raw, because by chewing, you activate sulforaphane, and that has anti-cancer properties as well. So for the second part, like to prevent infertility issues, to prevent like menstrual problems, you need to first rethink your diet. So cooking methods like frying, even grilling, that's a big thing, because during those methods, what happens, this harmful thing gets activated called AGE. AGE stands for advanced glycation end product, so AGEs. And that literally, what the name suggests, it ages us. And the way it ages us, it causes inflammation. It sits in our tissue, especially in ovaries, and it causes inflammation. and it leads to all sorts of things. Also, the third thing I was thinking is beauty, right? For women, we want to be beautiful. We want to have beautiful skin as long as we can. So aging, anti-aging. So for that, I really like lemon. You know, people think now it's very popular, I guess, to take like collagen, anything like supplements. Guys, it's not doing anything. You got to eat properly. Your body can make its own collagen. All you do if you spend money on collagen, you're just buying yourself an expensive urine, I guess. So lemon helps your body make its own collagen. So instead of putting oil on your salad, put a lot of lemon. Does it make sense?
It does, yeah. A lot of people find it difficult to, I suppose, realize that every vitamin and mineral is found from plants and foods, and we can most certainly, I do recommend that on a regular basis, to consume whole foods before they take supplements, because the definition of a supplement is to supplement what you cannot get from your diet.
Exactly. So there is a place to be for supplements in some areas, but anytime you can eat something whole, eat it whole. And let's say turmeric, right? So everybody like turmeric. It's a golden herb, right? A spice. So I love turmeric, but just buy regular turmeric spice and eat it with a pinch of black pepper, or a little bit of coconut oil to activate the curcumin, and stop spending money on the supplements, which is probably like a $30 per bottle, right? Or maybe, I don't know how much it is, but it's expensive. So you get the same benefit from whole foods.
Certainly. And what are your thoughts, I suppose, on people consuming soya and changing excessive amount of hormones in either a male or a female's body? Do you ever come across people kind of demonizing soya products?
Yes, people do. But again, you have to look, like soy oil, for example, could be very inflammatory, right? So you have to look at the ingredients also. But let's say tofu is good for you. Tofu is soy based. So you have to know, like, I guess, buy reputable products, and then be your own advocate, do a research. So you can't like, let's say it doesn't mean I have to go to a library and now read the entire medical study community, right? But let's say I like Dr. Greger, right? Or I like somebody else, like I trust you. So if you tell me this is bad, don't do it. If you tell me it's good, do it, right? So find a reputable source. Like not all soy is created equal. I think like certain certain soy products are good, but soy oil is not good.
Yeah, and that'll be the case for anything. I suppose you're taking examples from people and putting it into your own lifestyle and seeing, does it work and does it fit you? And as a result of that, you have to use your body as an example of, does it work for you? Can you factor it in? And do you enjoy it long term? Is it one of those things that I get people to realize, whether it be an exercise regime or food choices that they've chosen from somebody else, whether it be on social media, between me, yourself, or yourself, experts in the field on health, will be something that is important to remember.
Oh yeah, enjoyment is the key here. So whatever we do, we have to like it. If we don't like it, you're not going to sustain for a long time.
What do you think it was most people's problem with health? You think they're information overload, or is because they lack motivation or drive, or what do you think it is?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know if there is a single cause. Probably, first of all, lack of knowledge. I think lack of knowledge, because what we do. So we have our mind, which practically it works. Either I like it or I don't, right? So it's either plus or minus. So if we eat certain food because our parents ate it, so we like it, right? But then when we little, we don't know if it's good, if it's not. Your mom gave it to you, you like it. But then you grow up and you read on it. So you get knowledge and you say, oh my gosh, this is not good. So now you have intelligence over mind. So the more knowledge you have, the stronger your intelligence is, then it can kind of shut your mind down and say, well, cake tastes good because your mom fed it to you. However, you know all of these things that is bad for you, so you're not going to eat it. So the more knowledge you have, the more power you have to change your mind, to change your perspective, and to change your goals and to change, to, I guess, get different realizations. So yeah, lack of knowledge, definitely.
And with that point, is there any, I suppose, diet myths out there that really kind of irk you, or you used to believe and now we're like, I can't believe I actually believed that previously, that fats make you fat, or anything along those lines?
Um, Restricting calories, I think that's a big one. A lot of people think, okay, you know what, I'm going to count calories, I'm going to restrict for some time, and then yes, it will allow you to lose weight. However, you can lead that lifestyle. If you change what you eat, you don't have to count calories, so your body will automatically lose those extra pounds. So that's one big myth. So basically, bottom line here is calorie density versus calorie quantity. So you got to eat something. So I think I even made a video about it once. You can have a bottle of Coke that is 240 calories, and then you can eat, I forget however many carrots, a lot of carrots for 240 calories, or you can eat one banana. So here's the perfect example. What do you choose, right? So if you eat a banana, if you eat carrots, I don't think you can even eat that many carrots. It's probably like, I don't know, 10 pounds or something. But you're going to be healthy. You're never going to gain weight. So that's myth number one. Then, I don't like all sorts of, like, my husband actually many years ago, he did Atkins diet. So that's, that is so bad to you. And then now with all these diets don't work. It's not a diet. Your diet has to be a lifestyle. So diets don't work. So period.
So that's the second one. The first one was that
the calorie counts don't work too. So it has to be, you have to pick good calories. So don't, like, I have somebody in my life, like a friend of mine. So he lost a lot of weight by counting calories, but it's been like, what, 6 years? He still counts calories. Like, he plugs it in on his phone and he's like, oh, I can't eat anymore because, like, I'm at my limit. This is not a lifestyle. This is, I don't know. What are you doing to yourself? What would be a good word? Like that. I can't think of a good word, but it's a nonsense, guys. Food is meant to be pleasurable. Like, we got to enjoy what we eat, but we got to acquire. Taste is acquired. You don't like, let's say, I don't know, burger because you were burned liking burger. You like it because somebody fed it to you. So now you can like something else. You can like a black bean burger if you cook it well, and it's, you know, substitute. So acquire that taste. Like, I used to hate tofu. I'm like, oh, how can anybody eat it? Now I crave it. I love it.
And it may be due to the fact that you're adding in spices. That's one of the main problems I come with people I mentor or coach, is the fact that they don't ever enjoy the food that they have to cook themselves because they're lacking the knowledge. The spices are flavors, and flavors are actually what I suppose people are lacking in healthy food choices. Because anybody can say that, oh, broccoli tastes like rubbish because you just literally steamed it, or carrots, you've steamed them and cooked them to literally death, and then expect to pour them on a plate and for your family or yourself to consume them. Of course, people are going to say that healthy food is not enjoyable. It's about adding in spices. Turmeric and ginger, two massive ones. Cayenne pepper is another good one. Curry powder with added a cumin, all these things, and veg stock. You can get organic veg stock and sprinkle it on. Those are the game changers, as I call it. Why? Because it's about making healthy foods tasty, and you can most certainly do that, but adding a mixture of herbs and spices, coriander, cilantro, an absolute breadwinner, which are really important, I suppose, in your diet for reducing inflammation, and they're really high in vitamin C. And most people are looking for vitamin C and taking vitamin C tablets, which I am a firm believer in. You can definitely hit your vitamin C recommendation from, I think it's a minimum of 2 carrots a day, and that's your minimum requirement. After that, you add in any greens such as kale, rocket, arugula, Brussels sprouts that are all in season right now. You're going to exceed that, and the higher vitamin C right now is important to people because why? It's good for your immune system. And if people actually realize that food is medicine, the sooner they realize that, the better for their own health.
Oh yes, yes. So you know what? Actually, Dr. Greger has a very good recipe in his cookbook, where you make, I forget what he called that mix, but it's a mix of 10 different spices, So I pre-mix it, and plus nutritional yeast. I pre-mix all like in a big jar, and I add it to everything. So it is believed in Ayurvedic medicine that why Ayurvedic medicine uses spices, or Ayurvedic cooking, because our brain needs to experience different tastes. So like bitter taste, sour, sweet. I think there's like 6 of them together. So if we give it to our brain, like if we eat something and we have all these 6 tastes, then we feel satisfied. We feel pleasure. So it hits on those receptors. So that's why it's important. Besides what you said, totally agree with everything, but that's also for emotional satisfaction. So I add this mix to everything plus more, whatever else I want.
Very good. I suppose we have touched on a lot of topics, from, I suppose, salt lamps to reduced inflammation to both women's and myths in diet, such as the Atkins diet, calorie counting. I suppose I'd love you to even give the listeners maybe some 3 take-home points for, I suppose, overall health that you would recommend to the listeners.
Yeah, so the 3 takeaway points is, guys, when is a good time changing? It's today. It's right now. There's not going to be a better time. You may not even have tomorrow, God forbid, right? We may not even have tomorrow with everything that is happening. So the result is in doing. So start doing something. Okay. So doing is number 1. Second is we are what we eat. The sooner you realize that, the better for you. This body, your body, was given to you for a reason. So why is that you take better care of your car, your home, than your body? Nobody is at fault how you feel. It's only you. Every action has a reaction. So don't complain. Start doing, change your diet, feel the results. The sooner you change your diet, the more energy you're going to have to do everything else, to change your mentality. So I guess that's a lot of takeaway points. More than 3, definitely.
That's absolutely perfect. And I suppose before we wrap up, I want to say thanks very much, but where's the best place for the listeners or the viewers on YouTube, for that matter, to reach out to you and connect if they want to work or with any of your plans or in your treatments that you currently do?
Yeah, so Instagram at this point, and the handle is no RX needed. So no prescription needed, no RX needed. So you can follow me on any of those channels.
Perfect. And I'll be putting those all in the likes of the show notes. And most certainly, I would just like to say thanks very much. Happy Christmas, Happy New Year. And I'd like to end these podcasts by saying stay tuned, stay classy, and keep it organic.
Love that.